crumble. No choice but to lone wolf this one.
I've been playing Destiny since 2015, and lately I've been wondering, what made Destiny 1 so special and nostalgic, and why is Destiny 2 not the same? I started playing Destiny after my computer broke and I only had my PlayStation 3 to play games on. My father told me I could get one new game so I could have something to keep me entertained until I had my computer back. I went to a shop and I chose Destiny because it was only 15 euros. And I loved the game. But what was so special about Destiny anyways? For me, it's the die-hard fanbase. It's tough, but it's not a toxic one. I remember when I did my first raid without any prior knowledge, and my 5 other teammates all took their time to explain to me every single mechanic that I needed to do, and they would get the rest done without any issues. That was my first taste of the Destiny community, and it was great. Most of the people were from very different places, but they all had one thing in mind once the raid started: to get it done and help those who don't know what they're doing. I was one of those people, but no one had a problem with that. We got it done in 2 or 3 hours, and that was it. This was the first of many raids I did during that summer, with all types of people. I remember that 2 of the people I spent the most time with were 2 dads, one from the US and one from Canada, that would spend their nights playing with me because we were just a good team together. Keep in mind I was 16 years old at the time, with the voice of a squeaky toy. But that didn't bother them. I want to show some similarities to another game that is beloved by fans and considered extremely nostalgic: World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is an MMORPG with a massive living world where you could meet other people from all over the world and play together. This was the first MMORPG for a huge amount of people. My brother and I, for example. I used to watch my brother play it with his friends all the time, and I would try to piece some parts of the puzzle together and try to understand what was happening. It was a bit too complicated for me, because I was around 10 years old. But that didn't stop me from watching my brother play and enjoying the show. He would explain to me much of the mechanics and items and history of the game whenever he had time. I remember seeing my brother participate in 40-man raids and dungeons, having a hell of a good time, trying to get that one new item that he wanted. It was insane to think that 40 people got together to beat one if not the hardest challenge in the game at the time. This created memories that he'll never forget. And I share this feeling too with my memories of playing Destiny, doing raids with friends and making new friends that I still talk to this day. It's these memories that make the game feel special. For example, whenever you would get that one weapon or one armor piece that you've been wanting for months now. Or how about when World of Warcraft had its own virtual pandemic? A virus that spread around the game's entire world and wiped out the main cities of the game because of a glitch. A debuff that should not have gone out of a raid. This incident has been compared to the coronavirus outbreak and was even studied by epidemiologists. The thing my brother loves the most about World of Warcraft is the music, and I share the same feeling about Destiny's soundtrack. I remember quietly listening to the music while waiting for my friends to join me. For some reason, whenever I hear Destiny's soundtrack, I get shivers down my spine and a lot of nostalgia. Maybe the music is just good. While I do agree that the music is amazing, why do I feel nostalgic and feel the need to go back in time just so I can appreciate the game one more time? And why doesn't Destiny 2 make me feel that way? After a talk with my brother, talking about how both these games don't feel the same anymore, we reached to a conclusion that both games have had a ton of ups and downs during their lifetime. But right now, these 2 games feel more like chores than anything else. It's all about doing daily and weekly challenges or you'll be left behind. It's all about keeping the player engaged in the game no matter what, or making him come back every single day to appeal to higher hubs by showing better numbers, trying to prove that more people play the game now, when more and more people keep complaining about the state of these 2 games. Data mining also became quite a problem for me because, if you don't know, data mining is the practice of examining large pre-existing databases in order to generate new information. And with this method, a lot of people can figure out what's going to happen in the next updates just by looking at the data. We already know what weapons are gonna come out, what new armor pieces, what's gonna happen in the story. We have a lot of information that was never acquired to us before the content was released. But now that is also a problem, and I feel like that kind of took a bit of the magic away from the game because we already all know almost everything before the new content is even released. This happens in both games, and I just feel like it's a problem now. I'd prefer to not know as much about it. Destiny still remains one of my favorite games of all time, but I still feel like some of its magic is gone.